In case you missed it, here's Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.
I should knock on wood before I start telling this story, but I've never lost luggage while flying. Have you? Had any luggage go missing?
No, but I remember traveling to a track and field meet when I was younger, and one of my teammates lost her luggage. And, I mean, we were only there for maybe like 4 or 5 days, so it was devastating.
Well, frustrating because all of your stuff is in there, short of the clothes on your back and maybe what you took on the plane. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a guy in India, he's a software engineer. He flew on an airline called Indigo recently. They didn't actually lose his luggage. Someone else with the same bag grabbed it by mistake. But he says the airline just wasn't very helpful with the whole situation.
No, he reached out to customer service, and they still hadn't found his bag a day later. So he decided to take it into his own hands. And, since he's a software engineer, he hacked into their website. All he wanted was the other passenger's phone number so he could call them and coordinate a swap because they had each other's luggage. But the airline wouldn't give him that info, citing privacy reasons. So he dove into the code on the website, used a number on the bag tag to find their contact info. Turns out they only lived 4 miles away. And so he was able to reach out to them, and they met up to exchange the luggage. And then he reached out to the airline to let them know, by the way, I did this. You have some massive holes in your security.
Well, they responded and downplayed the whole thing. They claimed their site was never really compromised. The only reason that they hadn't found his bag was he had labeled his inquiry as flight info instead of mishandled baggage. So they claim. They did thank him for his feedback, though, said they're currently reviewing it. Yeah, meaning they're currently trying to upgrade their security systems.
Yeah, I remember, the story about my teammate who lost her luggage. We were in Calgary, and they went back to the airport because they had filed the claim or trying to find it. And turns out they found it just sitting out in the middle of the concourse.
Oh, man.
Anybody could have taken it.
Just sitting there.
She's just walking around. They're like, oh my gosh, that's my bag.
Yeah, nowadays they would take that bag away and quarantine it because you never know what might be inside. We don't know.
We're like, what happened?
Where did it end up? Well, the fact that I get that they didn't want to give the guy this information. Why couldn't you pick up the phone then and call the guy yourself as the airline? And
say, hey, you grabbed someone else's bag. We need to coordinate a time for you guys to meet up and swap it.
Sounds like their customer service wasn't really cooperative. So this guy, being a software engineer, exposed some security issues.
Yum. Science. It's not rocket science.
Check it out. I blinded us with science.
It's really held in the scientific world that it was the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs that hit the Gulf of Mexico 66 million years ago. Now, researchers think they found a fossil of a dinosaur in North Dakota that may have died that very day. They know this because of the layer of debris that's on top of it and the shape of the skeleton they've been able to find.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you make a point to go for a daily walk for your, a stupid walk for your stupid mental health every day, you seen that trend? Well, you might want to step up the pace a bit. According to a new study, walking briskly instead of at a gentle pace can actually cut your risk of heart failure by 1/3, at least for women between the ages of 50 and 79. They pointed out that a lot of times people say, I don't have time to work out. That's their sort of barrier to getting active. But walking faster for a short period of time might provide similar health benefits to the recommended 150 minutes a week of moderate physical activity.
So pick up the pace a little bit. Help your health.
It's kind of hard with the dog, though. It keeps stopping to smell everything.
Hey, scientists in England think mushrooms can talk to each other using different electrical signals.
This is just another reason not to trust mushrooms, Dave.
They think that they might have up to 50 words in their vocabulary, probably including put me back and don't eat me. Were the scientists eating some mushrooms?
After eating some special mushrooms?
Hey, dude. Mushrooms talking.
File this just under another reason why not to like mushrooms.
Put me down.
Not a big fan.
No thanks.
Hey, the company Airbus just announced that the largest passenger plane in the world, the A380, just did a successful test flight powered by sustainable aviation fuel. Basically cooking oil.
That's wild.
Powered the plane.
If they can actually move forward with that, that'd be amazing. And a team of engineers have developed a solar cell that can generate electricity at night.
Love this. Standard solar panels can provide electricity during the day, but this device can serve as a continuous renewable power source for both day and nighttime. Apparently, it incorporates a thermoelectric generator, which can pull electricity from the small difference in temperature between the ambient air and the solar cell itself. Now, it doesn't create as much electricity as it does on a sunny day, but they say it can provide some nighttime standby lighting and power, especially for people in off-grid situations.
Wow, that's an interesting development. If they can mass market this and make it affordable for people too. Sometimes when you get some tips, you're like, oh, that's a great idea, and then you never think about it.
You do it once, and then you forget about it. But there are other life hacks that can truly become a part of your daily routine. And we have a list of them. Here's some of the highlights. First off, keep your alarm clock or phone across the room out of arm's reach.
If you're someone that's deadly for hitting the snooze button all the time, might be a way to try and break that habit. When working from home, use your breaks to maybe complete a couple simple chores.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I worked from home so I could do that.
You know, load the dishwasher, do those kind of easy things.
Get things ready for the next morning the night before. Yeah, trust me on this. This is coming from someone who made a pot of coffee the other day without putting grounds in it because I forgot to do it the night before.
A pot of hot water.
Yep.
Don't put it down, put it away. Your mantra. We're all guilty of this. You go downstairs and grab something maybe out of the toolkit, screwdriver, whatever, and then you set it down and think, oh, I'll bring it downstairs later.
Another life hack that can be a part of your daily routine, put a notepad on your pantry or refrigerator in order to write down immediately when you run out of something.
Yeah, the issue will become, I'll forget that list on the pantry or the refrigerator
Exactly.
door. When cooking, clean up as you go. I try and do this.
Same.
I like a nice clean area there, working area.
Well, yeah, and while something's cooking, right? If you put it in the oven, then you can clean up all the prep bowls. Another life tip, start your day with a full glass of water. I do this every morning as soon as I get into work. I have to drink a whole glass of water before I'm allowed my coffee. It's my motivation to get through the glass of water.
Yeah, I started a while ago. As soon as I get up, I down a glass of water. And if you have kids, complete your nighttime routine at the same time you're making sure they do theirs, especially if you have trouble sticking to it yourself.
Also, that has the added benefit of if you brush your teeth, then you're less likely to snack after because you've already brushed your teeth.
Yeah, they've actually done studies on that once you have a clean mouth, it's a psychological thing that you don't necessarily want to get back into the snack foods later on. It's simple things, but boy, things like, prepping the night before can sure save you a lot of time. There's a story over the weekend that really blew up that made it sound like Toronto Maple Leafs security had kicked out a father and his son from a hockey game.
But after doing a little bit more digging, turns out that wasn't quite the case. So on Saturday night, a 7-year-old by the name of Hunter went with his dad and his brother to the Maple Leafs Montreal Canadiens game. Apparently, they're huge Habs fans. And it all started during warm-up before the game. So his dad said the Suns made up some signs to try to get a selfie with Nick Suzuki. He's their favorite player. Well, he did spot it, and he actually came over and tossed Hunter a puck over the glass. But Hunter was just so stunned that Nick was standing there that he wasn't paying attention, and the puck hit him right in the mouth.
I mean, and he's 7, right? And it split his lip, so there were some tears.
Yeah, and Nick was like, he was so upset by it. I mean, he's the assistant captain for Montreal, and so he left the ice and came back over with a signed hockey stick to give to the boys. To sort of say sorry that, I hit you with the puck, and, the dad's like, hey, it's not your fault. He wasn't paying attention, or he was just so starstruck.
Well, I mean, he was also at his first NHL game, right? So they traveled down to Toronto to go to the game. So fast forward, after the incident, they watched the game from their seats, stick in hand. But in the third, they went to use the washroom. They said they were informed by arena staff that the stick was a prohibited item and would have to be checked at guest services and then picked up after the game.
So they didn't kick them out. They gave them the option. They said, hey, you just have to go and check it at guest services, and then you can get it afterwards on your way out. Well, the dad said, could you just escort us back to our seats then? And they said, no, you have to do, go and check it. And they said, you know what? We're just going to go because we're exhausted.
Yeah, the kids are young. So first NHL game, all that excitement, getting to see their favorite player.
Yeah, sounds like they were there, an hour or two early in order to be there for warm-up. So he said the son was just kind of over it. So they were like, let's go back to the hotel. We'll just call it a night. And that's what they did. So he tweeted about the incident. But apparently a lot of people online were reading it that Toronto security had kicked them out of the game. And he's like, no. They were fantastic. It was our decision to leave because, it was the middle of the third period, and we decided to just go back to the hotel and watch it from there where the kids fell asleep.
Yeah, and the team, the Leafs, they did release a statement about the whole thing, explaining some of the same thing, right? Saying, hey, you could check this stick, or you would have to go one way or the other.
Well, because that's the thing. When I was telling you the story when I first saw it yesterday morning, I said to you, I was like, well, why wouldn't they offer to Usually there's like a check-in service for bags or whatever, that kind of thing.
Well, online, of course, people are making it seem like, oh, they're Montreal fans, so they wouldn't do it for them because they're not Leafs fans. And that is not the case at all. Right? You wait another 24 hours and then suddenly the rest of the story comes to the surface.
Yeah. So it turns out, as the dad said, it was our decision to leave the game. Be like, we could have checked it, but we were just done. We were tired. We were like, let's go back to the hotel, take it easy. And they said it was, quite the experience for their very first NHL game.
Yeah. Memories to last a lifetime. Actress Jenna Malone apparently is someone not to be messed with. She was in the Hunger Games and Donnie Darko. Well, last Tuesday, she saw a guy abusing a dog near Sunset Boulevard. So she started chasing him down and calling for other people to help.
And several people did join in. They managed to get the dog away from the man. Then 5 of the guys proceeded to beat him up for about a minute. I mean, that was a little unnecessary, but he was abusing a helpless dog to the point where the dog ended up with a fractured rib, broken bones in his hind legs, and a fracture in his right paw.
Oh, man.
Also, the dog was stolen.
So it wasn't even his dog either. So
nope.
I don't think I've got a whole lot of sympathy for that guy.
So it turns out the dog's name is Champ, and he's going to be okay, but he's going to be, in the animal hospital for a little while and need multiple surgeries. So they've actually set up a GoFundMe to help the owners who had the dog stolen in the first place cover all of the costs. And a GoFundMe page had already exceeded its $10,000 goal in just one day.
So Jenna said the whole thing, she said she's not sorry. She's sorry that it ended in a brawl, but she's not sorry that it happened. She had no doubt that the dog would have died if she and the others didn't intervene. PETA also recognized her for taking action. And I know police were questioning her about it. And, they said, hey, they were just kind of knocking the guy down after what he did. And it doesn't sound like any charges are going to be laid, I don't think.
Well, I mean, she wasn't calling people over to beat this guy up. She was just calling people over to help her get the dog away from the guy and then maybe hold him down until police could get there and charge him with animal abuse.
Well, they held him down. They held him down with their fists and their feet. And yeah, so thankfully this dog at the end of the day is going to be okay and back with his owners. Couple of examples of law and disorder this morning. A 37-year-old crossing guard in New York in the middle of doing her job when she suddenly got hit by a flying glass bottle. Luckily, she's okay.
But if you're wondering, well, where did the glass bottle come from? Apparently, a 30-year-old man by the name of Tyreek Martin threw it at her. Cops caught up to him about 45 minutes later, and when they asked him why he did it, he said chucking bottles at unsuspecting people is just something he enjoys doing.
Just a bit of a pastime, I guess. More of a hobby.
No, he specifically said he tries to aim for their face.
Oh, my God.
And this isn't the first time he's done something like this. He's been arrested at least 70 times for various reasons, including drug charges and arrests.
And most recently, he actually got arrested last May for hitting a 2-year-old boy in a stroller with a suitcase. The child ended up with a small welt under his eye. Thankfully, it wasn't more serious, so this guy is going to be facing some serious jail time this time.
Yeah, because apparently there was a warrant out for him in connection to the suitcase incident still. So he had missed a court date. And
wild.
Why? What is wrong with people?
How about this one? You think, breaking into a bank, you realize you'd have a plan to open a vault, stealing a stapler off a desk, on your way out. Well, a guy broke into a gas station in Greenfield, Wisconsin last week. He entered by using a crowbar, smashing a glass door, but then there was a problem.
He couldn't access the registers because they were behind a wall of bulletproof glass. So what did he do? Well, he had already broken in and, he had all his burglar outfit on. So he didn't want to leave empty-handed. So he looked around, saw a garbage can, just started stuffing it full of candy and energy drinks. He carried it out to his vehicle and took off. And they haven't said how much the items that he stole are worth. But, I guess he was like, well, if I'm in here already and I'm going to get caught, I might as well make it worth my while and get some snacks.
At least he didn't get in the register or the, the safe they might have had back there, too.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's overnight. A lot of these places don't even keep cash there. They take it all out.
Yeah, that's law and disorder.
And now it's time for...
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's random.
Is that a fact?
4 random facts.
To enlighten you a little bit on this Thursday morning, did you know the blob of toothpaste that you have on your toothbrush, it's got a name to it. It's one of my favorite names, a nerdle. That's going to be my nickname for you.
I'm a nerdle?
Nerdle.
It's spelled N-U-R-D-L-E, not N, like Revenge of the Nerds.
Not nerd, yeah. Nerdle.
Hey, do you know the average person speaks 5,000 words a day?
I think that'd be higher for us.
Well, and now you can add nerdle to the number of words you've said in a day.
So the average person does that. The average pencil can write 45,000 words.
Do you ever use a pencil down to the very nub, though? Probably not.
Better than the mechanical pencils that I sometimes use once in a while. I don't like those.
No?
They won't last nearly as long as 45,000 words.
No, definitely not. And finally, get this. If you plug your nose and eat an apple, a potato, and an onion, they will all taste the same. As long as you eat them with your nose plugged.
To me, that sounds like a taste test challenge to happen pretty soon.
I hate onions, so no. Pass.
Random for this morning.
Today's
1, 2, 3,
4.
So random.
random.
Give the public the facts.
4 random facts. You've been listening to Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.